Hot topic today. Welcome to Mark Bayeski YouTube channel. Welcome to the Pure Energy Healing Academy. Today we're going live, but we're also going to do replay. So if you didn't get to watch it on the live, don't worry if you're halfway through this. And then that doesn't matter because you won't even hear this if you were halfway through it. So shut up, Mr. Bayeski. Welcome, everybody. So what should I do if my girlfriend pulls away from me? I guess this is generally for the males. I think I'm always doing things for the females all the time. Very rarely do I talk about male energy and what males should do and talk about males. It's because 90% of my clients were feminine, females. So I will talk about this. It's been something that's been mentioned to me a few times, and I've personally dealt with it in the background, but it's nice to be able to talk about it today. So what do I do, Mark? Which was asked last week. My girlfriend's pulling away. And it's a great question. And it's something that I guess to look back on your life and see that you didn't make the mistakes that make you cringe or feel guilty or feel like really bad. Is probably ultimately the most freeing feeling for your future. So on my first occasion, I struggled very, very badly to the point that I just didn't want to live. Now, my situation is probably different from yours if you're watching this now and you're a guy who was maybe, I don't know, 15, 18, 30, 60, it doesn't matter what age you are. Age has got nothing to do with it. And let me tell you, you don't really, truly heal that much that you can cope with whatever comes your way. Because if you're a empath, if you're a feeler, if you're kind and caring, you'll always have that feeling. You'll always feel, well, what did I do? You'll go through the motions, you'll feel bad. If you've got a vested interest in the relationship, which is sometimes very negative, it's a very bad thing in this circumstance at this point, where your partner's pulling away from you, then the vested interest is normally you'll feel let down, you feel like you don't want to live anymore because you've built up something that was invisible. And it's a belief system which is actually just an illusion. Wasn't there anyway. You can think what you want, but you don't, and you can't control your future. And you certainly can't control your partner's future. You can't control her emotions. You can't control her path, her destiny. And her destiny might not be with you. And that's a really cutting thing, because we think that we should be the perfect person, or we are the perfect person. And in fact, we're just passers-by. We're all on our ship and we sail past each other. And sometimes we sail together for a while. Sometimes we sail together for the rest of our lives. I've asked many men, what's your secret when, they're 90 years old and they've been together for, 55, 60 years. And they normally go, you what? Sorry, did you say something? Yeah, kidding. That's a joke, by the way. You can't hear, so yeah, it's a joke. But it's not funny right now. If you're going through this pain and you're watching this now, you want to hear everything that you want to hear. And unfortunately, I can't just start feeling bad for you and start feeling bad and saying, or, trying to comfort you. The truth is that, you're here on this planet, and more I realize this planet is a planet not only for experience, but for pain, and pain is experience. And we only learn when we're in pain. We don't learn so much when we're in happiness, because we're in the happiness and bliss and joy. But when we're in pain, that's when we learn. That's when we really look at ourselves. So the bottom line is, why is she pulling away? She's pulling away because of what she's going through. Okay, what she's going through. So most of the times men take their life, or try to take their life, or go insane, or go crazy, or go nasty, abusive. They go on the attack, normally because they believe it's themselves. And one sure way of healing through this is it's not you. So if you're going through this pain now and somebody's walked away and you're scratching your head and wondering why, without anger, well done. That's great. At least you're looking at yourself. And one of the first things I learned from such a valuable, painful lesson was I looked at my life and looked at myself and realized that there was quite a few things that, I can understand why they walked away. And next time I'm going to try and be a better version of myself. If I'm ever to be with somebody else, if it's going to happen again, I'm going to try and be the better version and learn from that. That's a beautiful thing. Could I have learnt it with that my partner who left me? Don't think so. You never seem to, strengthen your life or see your mistakes when you're with somebody. But when they leave you, oh well, there's an opportunity now for you to, step back and think about what you did and why you did it. And but these are just little things. It's not really why they've left you. I mean, if you hit your partner over the head with an iron bar, that's why they've left you. But if you've not hit them that way, if you've abused them, then obviously you know why they've gone. So this video isn't for people who are abusive and narcissistic. This video is for people who are genuinely loving and thought that they were a good soul to their partner, and the partner's just gone, and they're wondering why, and they're feeling bad. This video's for you, because that's who I'm speaking to. That's my clients. I never really got narcissistic, nasty people who came to me wanting to know why their partners didn't leave, because they knew why they left. Narcissists always know. The ego sometimes can kick in, and it's with all of us. We've all got ego, so we feel bad because, I don't know, for the first time somebody's chosen to walk away. So now this bruised ego, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing, I think that's a good thing. Sometimes it's good to have your egos bruised and, to bring you back down to earth, So I don't have an issue with that. I think it's a good thing from time to time, and it helps us grow. So going back to if you felt like you've been a good person and you've done your best, and you're asking yourself, were you boring? Could you have been a better partner? Could you have taken them out more? Could you have bought more flowers and all these things? This is just a kind of a process that you're going through, which is a healthy process. But the bottom line is, the truth is, if I was to get, and I got many of the women that came to me, and then the partners would come to me, because they may have come to me together for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden they come to me as broken, and they're no longer together anymore. And every time I read for the lady who pulled away from the partner, it wasn't a case of there was cases where they got abused, but most of the cases were that they didn't know who they were. And you've got to listen to this. This is really important. A lot of the times the clients that came to me, the ladies that came to me, they had also made a mistake, in the sense that they thought that their cure was the man, and they realized that it wasn't a cure. So they might feel insecure. They meet somebody who's maybe got a good job and stable and doing well for themselves and got a nice house and a car. So then they get into a relationship, and now they feel secure, because women want to feel secure. They want to feel that they're protected. And I understand that. I get it. But that isn't everything, because there was something missing, and well, you thought you wanted this, and now you don't want it. So it wasn't the man's fault. The man was just there as, it seems, a good match. It seems that this person's a kind, caring, and very down to earth and hardworking, but that's not what I wanted. When you buy a house and you think it's lovely, and then you stay in it a little while and you start seeing the cracks and things don't feel right, and I don't really want to be here anymore. I don't really like this house. It's kind of very similar to that. Although I'm not trying to portray you as a house, and that sounds very shallow. I don't mean it that way. What I mean is that what we think we want, we don't even know what we want. Man or woman, child, we don't know what we want. We absolutely don't know what we want. And I can prove that thousandfold. I dreamt of a mobile home. I got one. It wasn't what I wanted. I realized it wasn't that. It was the dream. It was always the dream. Oh, I want this perfect man. So you get the perfect man. You didn't want it at all because now you're gone again. Oh, I want this car. You got it. You don't want it anymore. It's not the car. So what's missing in that understanding is that all of us are trying to find something. And we think we found it, and then that wasn't it. So again, I go back to you. Why did she walk away? Because it's something in her that she can't find. And it wasn't you. But it isn't your fault, because the next guy she meets is probably going to be the same thing, until she figures out the only way she can heal herself is by finding her fulfillment to make her happy in herself, and then she'll be able to enter into a relationship. And I often say this, don't go shopping on an empty stomach. And it's the same principle. You know, you're rushing to find somebody to fulfill that you need to be with somebody. No, you don't do that. You don't do that, because you'll never find what you're looking for when you do that. So if you are a young guy or mid-aged guy and you wonder why they pull away, I keep referring to, and I keep going round and round and going back, and we're in a maze now. We're trying to figure out all these things, but we can't really say one thing, because there are 1,000 reasons why a woman pulls away from you. And really, if you really want to understand it to its core, she's pulling away from herself. It's a real deep understanding. You need to think about this deeply. She's pulling away from herself. Is it easy? No, it's not. I've never read for a single woman that said, I can't be with this person anymore, and never felt bad. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot. You don't need to start asking her why. You don't need to start saying, well, what about me? What about the time that we spent together? What about all this wasted time? It's like, don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't lower yourself and do that. The stronger person, and I can honestly say this hand on my heart, and it's a win-win situation. The man that says or listened when I said, be there for them, send them a message and say, look, I understand whatever you're going through. I get it. And I'm here for you. I love you no matter what. And, whatever you do. I am not here to control or imprison you. I have no control over this at all. But I am here, and for you to know that whatever happens, you can always call, and I'll always be there if possible. And whatever you're going through, I'd just like to say to you that I totally get it and support you. I support you, and whatever happens, I support you. So looking back on that, I've been through various relationships where I've overreacted and reacted this way. Now I'm speaking, be supportive and loving. And I can tell you this as a fact. The latter of being supporting, of knowing deep down that it's not you, and that your partner's going through whatever she's going through, and whether she's your partner now or whether she's never going to be your partner, or maybe a friend one day, or maybe you'll never see her again. But how did you react as a good soul? Let's turn the tables. Always a good thing to do. Let's put our feet in the shoes of your partner who's pulling away. What must she be going through? See it through her eyes, how difficult it may be for her now that she's becoming lonely, because now what she thought was the perfect relationship and what she wanted isn't. So now she's going through a lot of pain and suffering and fear. What next? Where am I going? What am I going to do? So by putting yourself in her shoes, you can feel her, because there is a spiritual connection. And I did that with my last partner. I put myself in her shoes, and I understood why we went through what we went through. And I was stronger, and I'm always there for her. We said hello yesterday, and we chatted, and whatever she's going through, I'm always there. I'll always be there. And I've learned I won't allow anybody to take that away from me, whoever I'm with. And if they, well, why are you supporting your ex-wife? If anybody said that, I'd say, don't be like that. Don't be like that. But I'm very blessed. I haven't got anybody who talks to me like that, who understands that we're all here on an experience. And to me, that's a loving thing. Because if I was to so easily cut off from my partner that I was with 20 years and say, I don't want to speak to him, don't want to, like, what would my partner who I'm with now feel? Because I think, wow, is that easy? You're going to cut somebody off that quick? Well, maybe you could do the same to me then, which is probably right. So when you see somebody who is kind to an old partner or a friend and there for them, no matter what, then that shows that that person has got integrity, love, kindness, support. And I like that. So what I'm trying to say is if you are feeling that that your partner's pulling away, let them fly. There's a saying, isn't there, that let them fly, and if they come back, let go of them, and if they fly back, then it's meant to be. My understanding to this is, look, if you're meant to be together, there's nothing in this world that will stop that from happening. So they can fly off and they can do whatever they do, and if they're meant to be back with you again, they will come back. Nobody, no matter what anybody says, if you are true to who you are and it's meant to be, stay on your path, love the person, send them love every day, don't pester them, let them be, but always say, I'm always here for you, and you get on with your life. Don't stop your life for them. Don't stop your life for anybody. Keep going on your journey and grow from this experience, go through the pain and heal, and know that you are a good soul. And as you are on that path and journey, allow them to do what they need to do to fulfill or to heal or to strengthen or to see clearly, because sometimes people don't see when it's so close to them until they step away, and they might end up going with somebody else. And hey, listen, if she stepped away because she's found another person, don't worry about that. That's probably the worst thing they could do, because what happens, and what I've recognized as a healer and seen with clients, is that they go through the worst pain. You don't go. You think you're going through the worst pain because they've stepped away, because they've met somebody? Let me tell you, I've never met a woman that left a nice relationship because they fancied another guy and they left that and they were happy. No, never, never. It all falls apart, and it can last for years upon years upon years, and they're in a kind of spiritual limbo. And I've seen it too many times. And I often used to say to my clients, you have to be aware that when you're in a relationship, if you walk away from that relationship without being truthful, it's going to affect you. It's not karma. It's just you are going to affect yourself, because you know what you're doing is not right. So if ever I went into a relationship, the first thing I used to say is, conversation is important. Truth is important. Look, I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to get married. Don't want to have children. I just want you to know that. And they're not ground rules. They're just sharing what you're feeling at that moment in time. And then if the person that says, okay, I get what you're saying, it's my decision now, at least I know the truth, and then you move forward. The same applies to if two people are together, and if my partner came up to me and sat down with me now and said, look, things aren't going too good for me. I'm not in a good place. I don't feel like I could be in this relationship any longer. I'm struggling. And also, I don't have the feeling that I used to have. And I don't want you to be with me knowing that I don't have the feeling of love for you anymore. So, can we talk about it? And okay, if that's the case, then we'll part. Or, you know what? I accidentally tripped up and fell on another man, and hands up, I'm sorry, I never wanted it. It just happened. Okay, at least honesty comes out. At least truth comes out, and you're not doing it to hurt that person, but you're being honest. Being honest is the best way. Then the man can cope with it, knows what's going on, and can heal from it, rather than you lie to them and eventually they'll find out, oh, that energy is always in the air, so they'll always feel something bad. So I think truth and honesty is a wonderful thing. So I'm not saying that your partner's pulled away because they've had sex with somebody else. I'm just saying there's so many scenarios that I'm now speaking to the woman, if she's listening, that Honesty is the best policy. Being open and truthful, because I don't think any woman or any man, truthfully, unless they're not like you and I, they come from a different consciousness and they're evil and they do things to hurt people. I'm not talking about that species, the narcissists. I'm talking about general people who, you know what? It was your time together. A lot of the times people stay together and they should have left 5 years ago, right? And it happens all the time. So there's something in that as well, right? There's something in that. And then what happens is it takes something bigger for that to happen. So it could be an affair or something. So for me, I think it's valid that we speak our truth and work our way through it. I think if both man and woman wouldn't fear being on their own, I don't think we would suffer as much as we do. Because we fear being on our own. We fear, what now? How am I going to survive? What am I going to do? Where do I get my love from? And a lot of the times we suffer because we don't have the internal love that we need. And we say we do, but when it comes to, I love my own company. I really do. But, fearing being on my own is, I can understand. It's a genuine feeling that I feel that people want to be together. They want to be loved. They want to give. They want to share. And I get all of those things. I think a wonderful thing is to learn to love yourself that much so that you're not as hurt. You're always going to be hurt if something bad happens, if somebody pulls away, but it's not going to be as painful if you love yourself and you say, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm going to miss you, but I'm okay. It's fine. And I don't want you to be with me if you're unhappy. I mean, that's really love to me. That's really love. That's really strength, right? But I don't just mean that willy-nilly. You're not just going to say that to every relationship. You're going to try and make it happen. You're going to try and make it work, and you work together. You work through things. I'm just talking about generally now, because there's so many scenarios you can be throwing at me now on the screen saying, yeah, but, absolutely. There's loads of them. I'm just sharing you what I'm saying now because it feels right to share this, but there's so many paths I could go down in this conversation. So ultimately, she walked away generally because she needs to find herself, and she thought she could find it in you, which was a mistake to begin with, right? So it's not your mistake. And plus the fact you've experienced, a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years. Have you enjoyed it? If the answer is yes, I've loved it, then honor that and put that into a lovely place, and always hold on to it as a wonderful experience that you had together, and nobody can take that away. And no matter what you're feeling and going through now, that always stays there. You can have awful feelings, you can be upset with her, you can be angry, or you can be like, but that time you had together, nobody can take that away. You can't erase that. That is a beautiful part of your journey. And I would say I want to take away the best parts of that journey every day. Just like when we lose a family member to the spirit world, we don't want to think about the pain and suffering that they went through at the end of that of their life, or whether it be cancer or whatever it may be, whatever their issue is. We want to remember the good times. Okay, so that makes sense to everything that we do. So I find that looking back over the years of reading for the woman who pulled away from the man, and I could see nothing at all that the man did, and I'd read and said, look, I'm really sorry. I actually can't see what the guy did wrong to you. And she'd go, he hasn't done anything wrong to me. And then I'd turn some more cards over and feel them and say, this is really about you and about you trying to find yourself and your path and your happiness. And they'd go, yeah. And they'd be crying and saying, yeah, I don't know what to do or where to go. So if you're upset as a man because she's pulled away, let me tell you, she might not show it, but she is in a bad place. So by having that empathy Even at the time where you feel that, you know, your mates will say, what the frigging hell are you talking about? She left you. What are you talking about? Tell her to fuck off. Tell her to get stuffed. No, don't listen to that nonsense. Be stronger, be wiser, be kinder, be loving, and be supportive, because she's going through far more pain than what you are. Trust me. Whether she's had sex with somebody else, whether she's just walking away, because she's lost. That's probably why she did what she did and why she's going, right? So try not to feel the victim. Don't be the victim. Don't be the victim. Don't ever be the victim. Even if, whatever in life, whoever you are listening to this, don't be a victim. Don't do that to yourself. You're not a victim. You're a person of experience and you're going through it. And the stronger you are, the more experience you go through, the more challenges you go through. So it's how you deal with them challenges and how you look back. And it's normally, I mean, I'm really good at it now. I look back at all my challenges to this day and I reflect on them. It's a really beautiful thing to do. And I see, how did I do? And sometimes I go, oof. And then sometimes I go, yes, I did good there and I'm proud of myself. And I want you to be proud of yourself to this day. And if you can change your thoughts and feelings for why me, it's my karma, it's bad luck, I'm the victim, she did this and she's horrible and I'm not horrible. Just throw that junk garbage away. Tell your mind to shut up and listen to your heart and be kind and be loving. It's not about your ego. Tell your ego to shut up. To finally, end this topic, I want to say this. I did say to you that no matter what happens in this world, right now, in this relationship that you thought you were going to be in forever, there is nobody, no mum who's happy now that she's, she's left you because maybe your mother-in-law didn't like you that much, or a friend who can't stand you, or whatever it is. There's nobody in this world that can interfere, that will stop you getting back with your partner. But I need to finish on this note. There is nothing that you can do or anybody else can do that can make you come together or not come together. So it's basically is if you're meant to be together, you will be. And if you're not, you won't be. It's that simple. There is nothing that can make this happen apart from if it's meant to. So there is a very spiritual meaning to this. There is a very, very divine meaning to this. Have I seen people split up and come back together again? Absolutely. Totally. Have I seen people come back together again and then say, why the hell did we do this? Why did we try it again? It's all broken. Yes, loads of times. Have I ever seen people who come back together again and stay and live happily ever after? There have been situations that I've seen that happen and they've grown and it's been fantastic. But there are so many scenarios and so many paths that are all so intricate that you can't really put a pattern to this. So if I was to say that we don't know, I don't know, your partner doesn't know who's walked away, and you don't know, nobody knows, okay? And by that, I'm saying, if you don't know what's going to happen, then the only thing that you're in control of, the only thing that you can do is to do your best right now, to be the best soul you can, to be the kindest and the most caring and the strongest you can be, to work on yourself and not allow this part of your life to drain you of your strength and your power and your love and your kindness. You work on yourself from this moment on. You clear the little evil thoughts that are in your mind telling you that you're not good enough, which is garbage. That's the little evil in the mind that comes. It tries to come in. It's a little devil that tries to tell you all the time that you're not good enough and you're not worthy, and there's somebody better, and it's time to get jealous and angry. That is the nature of yin and yang, good and bad, light and dark. Darkness is always trying to infiltrate when you're going through. It can hear you. It's like a whistle that you blow for a dog. Only the dog hears that whistle. Well, when you start to feel these bad feelings, that's like a whistle to the devil, to darkness, to entity, to bad energy. And they'll come in and they'll start to fuel it, and they'll fuel it, and they'll give you more and more, and they'll make you think all bad thoughts until you don't even know who you are anymore and what you're doing in this world and what's the point living. That's not you. The real you is the strongest. And the real you to clear all that darkness is that it's all as it should be. You are amazing. You are beautiful. And she came to you for a reason. She felt something in you for a reason. That cannot be denied. The time you spent together, it's all real. It was all beautiful. And you cannot throw that away. You cannot deny that by way of saying, well, it's all over now, so none of that meant anything. Don't do that. Don't hurt yourself for that. Everything meant something to her at that moment, just like it does to you now and then. So you're just simply amazing, and you're powerful. And my understanding, and it always has been, is that when you're going through pain, you're a very strong soul and very powerful. So you will get through it. And you will get stronger. And whether it's with this soul who's pulling away right now, who just needs to find themselves to understand who they are. Well, you know what, mate? I would rather have a partner who went and came back, who's found themselves, who's happy and joyful in themselves, that they don't need me anymore or have to be with me because they need to fulfill something in themselves. Then maybe they'll come back to you a different person and a stronger person without the need of anything. So it's a win-win every time. So that's my conversation. This is the second one I've had. The first one I had, my battery went dead on my phone, went dead halfway through the conversation that I promised I'd make to a young guy, Daniel, 17 years old. I know if you're watching this, Daniel, I made this video for you out of love. And I can tell you this, don't get me crying. I'm going to start crying in a second. I've been there. I know what it's like, and it still hurts and it's still painful. But you know what? It makes you a beautiful soul being in pain. It shows me that you've got a beautiful heart and you're a kind, caring soul. And whoever's lucky enough to be with you for the rest of their life is the luckiest soul in the world. Don't rush. Don't worry. You are amazing, and one day when you understand how beautiful you are, I promise you, you will feel so much love and so much kindness from others. I'm wishing you all a great day, guys, from my heart to yours. Take care.